Rain lashed against the windows of the colonial-style Carter home as thunder rolled overhead, shaking walls and rattling bones. Lightning cut through the darkness, briefly illuminating thick drapes and a clock that read 11:47 p.m. Inside, Ethan Carter sat frozen at his desk, heart pounding so fiercely he feared Claire would hear it upstairs. His fingers hovered over the mouse, steeling himself to rewind the nanny cam footage one more time. With each inch of the progress bar, the room's cool air felt like stifling dread. Sweat beaded at his temples, even as gooseflesh crept up his arms. And then, in grainy black and white, he saw her. Sophie Lawson standing over baby Lily's crib, a small metal gleam in her hand. Bruno, their mighty retired canine, pressed his broad frame between Sophie and the cradle, muscles coiled in unwavering resolve. In that instant, the feed went black, and a chill slammed into Ethan's spine. He swallowed dryly and whispered, "Claire, you need to see this." What came next would change everything, and they were nowhere near prepared. Years before, Bruno had been both hunter and saviour. As a detective unit's prized German shepherd, he had charged into hostage crises and high-risk raids, sniffing out danger and shielding innocence. But during one fateful operation, he hurled himself between a suspect's bullet and his handler, sacrificing his shoulder and his career. Stripped of his badge and purpose, he landed at a dusty rural shelter, lost without orders, yearning for a mission. Claire Carter saw that hollow in his eyes, so familiar to her own heart after years of fertility treatments had ended in dashed hopes. Ethan, wary of a trained attack dog, refused to adopt. Yet Claire's resolve never wavered. He deserves a home. When Bruno curled his head into her lap as she wept, she knew his battlefield had shifted to a family that needed him just as fiercely. And something extraordinary happened. Bruno embraced his new role, protector of two broken souls who offered him love in return. From the moment Lily was conceived, Bruno transformed. He trailed Claire like a shadow, nose nudging her hand, paws padding close to her every aching step. With Lily's first cries, his muscles coiled in proud vigilance beside the crib. At last, Bruno had a family worth guarding, and the Carter home brimmed with almost perfect joy. Until Claire's return to work demanded a nanny. Their search led them to Sophie Lawson, whose flawless credentials and polished smile felt like a godsend. Yet Bruno bristled the moment Sophie crossed the threshold. Airs on end, gaze fixed, deep growl rumbling in his chest. Sophie, unfazed, offered reassurances about large breeds. "I understand protective dogs," she cooed. Claire exhaled. Ethan laughed off Bruno's misgivings. But in Ridgewood Hills, where white pickets and surveillance cameras defined security, Bruno's very existence stirred unease. Neighborhood whispers swelled into overt discrimination. A viral clip of Bruno subduing a suspect 2 years earlier became proof enough. A killer dog roaming in suburbia. Parents pulled children indoors when Claire walked him. The local preschool rescinded Lily's enrollment, citing safety concerns. Ethan's love for his family clashed with fear of isolation. "Are we making a mistake?" he asked gently one night. Claire's answer was firm. Bruno is family. Yet Bruno, ever the sentinel, sensed true peril. He studied Sophie with hawk-like intensity. Every lunchtime phone call by Lily's window, every fumbling security code when she claimed the alarm was malfunctioning. Ethan noticed Sophie's furtive glances and whispered conversations behind closed doors. Claire brushed it away until that stormy night. When torrential rain and treacherous roads made Sophie offer to stay, Claire agreed without hesitation. But Bruno's growl shattered calm as Sophie crossed into the foyer, suitcase in hand. Claire tugged at his collar. Bruno, no. Yet he locked eyes on Sophie, pacing and panting beside Lily's nursery door, not resting, only guarding. That's when Ethan glimpsed Sophie's text. "Target secured. Prepare for action." A nameless dread seized him. He dashed to the backyard monitor. Sophie's figure at the door, speaking softly to a shadowed silhouette. Betrayal hit like ice. Ethan bolted upstairs as Bruno's barks morphed into battle cries. Masked intruders stormed the hall. One fired a tranquilizer dart into Bruno's shoulder. For a heartbeat, Bruno wavered, then lunged, flattening the first assailant. The second slashed his flank with a knife. Blood spattered across polished wood. Pain exploded, but Bruno's jaws clamped onto the attacker's arm, refusing to release. Sophie screamed, "Get him!" But Bruno's sole thought was Lily's safety. The hallway erupted with sirens as police battered down the door. Claire raced in, tears mingling with rain on her cheeks, to find Bruno trembling by Lily's crib, coated in crimson yet unbowed. Ethan subdued the last intruder, and officers swarmed in. Sophie's smirk dissolved into panic as handcuffs snapped. Claire's world narrowed to Bruno's whimpering form as she pressed trembling hands to his wound. "Please don't leave me," she sobbed. His muzzle twitched. With a final shuddering breath, he rested his head in her palm, silent testament that home was where his heart lay. A vet team barreled into the stormy night, lifting Bruno into an ambulance as Claire clutched his paw, refusing to let go. 2 weeks passed in agonizing limbo. Claire sat bedside, whispering, "Hold on, Bruno. We need you." Ethan went public with Bruno's heroism, setting the record straight. Ridgewood Hills, once galvanized by fear, now rallied with flowers, apology letters, even plans for a statue in Central Park. Bruno, a loyal guardian. On a bright spring afternoon, the miracle arrived. Bruno's lids fluttered open to golden light. Claire wept as he nuzzled her hand. His fierce spirit still glowed in those emerald eyes. "You're home, my hero," she whispered, voice breaking. Seasons changed. One sunset found Lily wobbling toward Bruno in the yard, giggles dancing in the warm air. He gently nudged the ball her way, tail wagging in rare, peaceful rhythm. From the porch, Claire and Ethan clasped hands, tears of pride in their eyes. Bruno lay at Lily's feet, sentinel no more. At peace at last, because this was the family he had died to protect, and this time he truly was home. The morning sun filtered through dew-kissed leaves as the Carter family stepped onto their front lawn, hearts full of hope. Bruno moved slowly now, each step measured, his wounded shoulder healed but marked forever by that night's sacrifice. Lily, her golden curls glinting in sunlight, toddled toward him, squealing with delight as she clutched a bright red ball. Bruno's wet nose nudged the toy, sending it rolling across the soft grass. He watched her with gentle eyes, every muscle relaxed, every breath easy. Claire inhaled the crisp air, feeling it fill her lungs with gratitude. She watched the way Bruno's tail swept the ground in steady arcs, how he tilted his head when Lily laughed, how he paused mid-play to glance back at the house where he'd once stood guard through thunder and shadows. Ethan joined her, wrapping an arm around her waist. "He did it," Ethan murmured, voice husky. "He saved her and us all." Across the street, neighbours emerged from behind white fences, tentatively at first. Mrs. Vaughan, once the most vocal critic, offered a small wave. Mr. Patel approached with a bouquet of wildflowers collected from his garden. Children peeked from behind manicured hedges, eyes wide as they watched Lily and Bruno at play. Where Thea had once built walls, respect and admiration now formed bridges. Inside, the bronze statue of Bruno stood, awaiting its unveiling. A likeness capturing the proud set of his ears and the determined curl of his lips. That evening, the townspeople gathered beneath festoon lights strung between oak trees. Claire pressed Lily to her hip as Ethan stepped forward to speak. His words trembled, full of emotion. "We nearly lost our guardian that stormy night, but through pain and fear, he remained steadfast. May this statue remind us to look beyond appearances and honour true courage." Bruno rested at Claire's feet, head on his paws, gaze soft and content. A hush fell as the curtain dropped, revealing his image for all to see. Applause rippled through the crowd. Petals floated down like confetti, and Lily squealed in delight. Bruno lifted his head, eyes shimmering in the lantern light, as though understanding that his duty had fulfilled its final mission, to show a community what real protection and real love looked like.